you procrastinate so much on quote unquote preparing that you just never get shit done.
I feel like a lot of people are chasing this perfect time, this perfect moment, and like I say it all the time, it's a fucking unicorn. Like it doesn't exist. Like take today and make it the perfect moment.
What's going on, you guys? We're back on another episode on the podcast, but today we have Jose Gallegos, a very freaking good friend of mine. This guy is a special human being, for one, also goes by the name Julio, but want him to introduce himself, what he does, who he is, and why we're here.
Dude, first and foremost, thank you for having me on here, man. Dude, we've been through a lot, especially moving out here, which is something we're going to dive into in a little bit, but what I do, I'm an online fitness coach. I moved out to San Diego and I decided to start my own business. I was working under our mentor, Zach, for a good while. And kind of just speaking to him, he was like, hey, man, I think, you're kind of built for something better. So decided to branch off, started doing fitness coaching on my own. And, I mean, we're both kind of doing the same thing now, right? So
I love that, man. And to tie it back a little bit, I mean, before we kind of take a few steps back to, where it all began and how we even got here, you did just announce another person on your team. So now you are a team of how many at the moment?
Dude, we're a team of 4.
I fucking love that.
Team of 4 people, man. And like I mentioned on my story earlier this morning, this is something I never imagined, bro. Just being able to give other people a way out of, whatever it is that they're doing. Maybe they're not happy with their job or, they just don't like what they're doing. Like we're able to give them that, that way out and help them actually like support themselves and support their family, dude, which is kind of crazy to fucking think about.
100%. And I mean, dating back or, going back a little bit in the timeline, that was actually provided for you. And in that being provided for you, that was actually provided for me. So it all cascades in some type of way. Talk a little bit more about how it started for you, man, what it pulled you out of, and what it got going in your mind, because you always say, you didn't see yourself thinking or being here, and now that's all completely changed. Now, you can agree that you're absolutely limitless, and you're just so damn powerful, and like anything you say or do just happens, and like we know we have that power now. So let's go back a little bit. When you were under Zach, how did that all play out? Like, where did that start?
Dude, I mean, fuck, let's rewind, man. So I knew Zach back from college, so we were friends. I met him through a mutual friend at the gym, and we just kind of started chopping it up. I knew he had an online business himself, and he was like really trying to like gravitate it. And when I met Zach, he actually didn't have a lot going. I knew he had like the fitness business going, but what he's doing now is just that shit blew up, right? When I met him, I just saw him going after his goals, and I was like, wow, like this dude's special. He has something special that I don't have because he's able to do all these crazy things. He's able to live life in his own terms, right? And me and him just kept contact throughout time. And he would always come back to visit because he's from the same town, Monterey. I was working for a company called Michelin, dude, and I absolutely despise that place, dude. I was super unhappy. I was just kind of going day by day, living my life. And whenever he'd come visit, he'd be like, hey, man, let's catch a workout. So that's kind of how it started. We started talking a little bit more. And the last time he came to visit, I was actually going through my NASM CPT. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a personal trainer. I'm going to help people because, this is something I love. And it really helped me bring, a lot of confidence into my life. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go through the personal trainer route. And when Zach came over here, man, like I think he saw me just struggling to like just get myself going, start the business, and he started building a course for online fitness coaches. When he did that, I remember he actually called me. He's like, hey man, like are you up for like a quick 15-minute call, just see kind of where you're struggling, what's going on? I still remember that day, dude. We sat down and I was just telling him like, hey dude, like this is what I'm struggling with, this is what I don't understand. How do I go about this stuff? And it slowly just kind of started going in that manner. Once he dropped the course, I bought into it. I think I was like maybe the second person that bought into the course. And that was just kind of me dipping my toes into the water. And the first time I ever actually got a mentor, fast forward a month later, he was like, hey man, look, dude, like I'm actually looking for an assistant coach. So he gave me the opportunity to get out of what I was doing. So I started being an assistant coach for him. And I believe I got laid off from Michelin Linen because of the whole COVID thing going on. And during that month, man, I just fucking grinded. I said, fuck, man, this guy gave me an opportunity. So I started reaching out to everybody that I could about coaching. And I started getting some people under me. And then by the time they wanted me back, I had a roster, and then I had a bunch of calls booked. And I was like, I remember this day fucking vividly, man. I was sitting on the truck, bro. I was looking at the paperwork. I was looking at my phone, and I was like, dude, I have 4 calls today. I have like 20 something deliveries left I have to make. I was like, dude, I'm going to clock out by like 7 or 8 p.m. today. I was like, I can't keep doing this shit. So that day I remember it, and I was like, look, dude, I either got to pick one or the other. Right. And I decided, like, I'm going to pick the other. I'm going to choose myself over a company that doesn't really value me. So with that, dude, I decided to just go full throttle, go all in. And I actually freaking quit, man. Like, I remember just going in there. I was super unhappy. There's a lot of stuff going on, man. And I was like, I'm just going to quit. I walked into my manager's office, and I was like, hey, man, I appreciate you guys bringing me back, giving me this opportunity, but this ain't it. Like, I need to do something else, right? And I started taking coaching full time. So I was working under Zach as his assistant coach. Within that time, dude, like, I was doing pretty well, but I did find myself like kind of in a dark spot. I was going through like the binging disorder. And I was just kind of struggling a lot mentally because I was trying to tell my clients, what to do when I couldn't even follow it myself. You know what I mean? So it really kind of like gravitated into this spiral of always kind of beating myself up. And I remember I talked to Zach, and I was like, hey, man, I'm just like super unmotivated. I don't really want to work right now. I don't really want to do anything. And he told me, he's like, hey, dude, come out to San Diego, visit for 3 days, and then, you can go back and you get to work, right? I came out here for 2 days, dude. The second day, I was like, this is it. I was like, this shit's it right here. I remember that night, dude, I was sitting there, and I was watching Zach talk to a few of his buddies. They were all talking about like the big ideas they were putting together. They were talking about like, kind of like how much money was like really coming in for the business and everything. And I was just there, just fucking mind boggled. I was like, you can do that? Like, I was like, you can make that happen. And dude, I picked their brain the whole night. And that night I was like, you know what? I'm moving out here. And that's when I texted you, man. I still remember that you had to come out here, and you're like, you know what? I'm moving to San Diego. And I slid into your DMs, bro. I was like, hey, man, I don't know if you guys have signed the lease for your apartment yet or not, but hear me out, dude. Like, say we room together. Say we just fucking like start, living together, fucking just help each other out, make this shit grow. And the rest is just kind of fucking history, to be honest with you, man. Like, once I got back to Salinas, I just told everybody, like, yo, I'm moving. I called my parents the next day, and I was like, I'm moving. Like, this is it. You know what I mean? And dude, we moved in. As soon as we fucking got here, we worked. Like, everything we said we were going to do, we didn't put it off. We didn't just fucking like waste our time. We're like, you know what? Like, we came here for a mission. We came here to do something. We all have goals and aspirations, and we're going to work towards them. You know what I mean? So with that being said, man, I mean, we're like almost a year into living in San Diego, dude. And you have an assistant coach now. You have a team of 3. I just brought on a team of 4. So, dude, I say we did a pretty damn good fucking job being out here.
And it's just the start too, man. So, and that's what I really love about it. So, I mean, the name of this episode is just gonna be Ground Zero, because we really did start from ground zero, man. From, not having any furniture in this place, just using lawn chairs for a good amount of time, and just a $70 little table from Target, and that's what we did our work on. When you quit your job, man, I remember, I think it was about a week after you quit your job, you came into Golds, and that's when I texted you first. So I reached out to you because I remember Ivana had brought up to me that, she's just like, oh yeah, Jose just quit his job. He was working full time for like this good company. He left this job, and now he's coaching online. And I'm like, hold up. Yeah. Like, what do you mean? Okay, what's this dude doing? And I remember I seen you one time before I reached out to you, and you were just smiling, you were happy, and you just seemed so pumped up. And now that, we're talking about it and tying it back, I'm sure that was shortly after you had just quit your job. You were telling everybody, you were stoked, you were still running off this high from being an SD. And I know exactly what you're talking about because when I came down for the first time too, I was running on a high as well. I mean, we moved out here a month later after I visited. But I remember I was already thinking of the idea of coaching and everything. I have little notes in my notebook from earlier in the year talking about the plans I was gonna do. I had scripted out this entire course I was gonna build up and sell it for $20. I was just like, if I can sell this for $20 and I get 500 people, like it just didn't work like that. But I had ideas, plans. The only thing was you were doing it and I wasn't. So that's when I reached out to you. I was just like, yo, what are you doing? How are you doing it? How can I do this? And how do we move forward with this? And you talked to me, you like pushed me to do it. And you're like, just do it. Like,
Yeah.
what are you stopping, you know? So that's when I actually bought NASM. And I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm buying NASM, I'm gonna be a CPT. And the memory on my Snapchat actually just came up from a year ago when I bought NASM. There's a little picture of me on my desk. And it's just like, all right, this is a new chapter. This is a new beginning. This is the start of it. So that was definitely good, man. So we kind of helped each other get out here because if it wasn't for you pushing me to do the online coaching, we wouldn't have came out here.
Yeah.
You know, I had to slide into your DMs for that. And when I came out here visited, I already just said, fuck it, I'm coming out here. I have no plans, no strategy, nothing. I'm just coming out here. And that's when you slid into my DM. So it really went hand in hand, man.
Yeah, man, dude. I still remember that day, and it was funny as hell because I was working at Goals and I was doing the front desk, and I saw your message. You're like, "Hey, man, can I ask you a question?" And I had literally just checked you and Ivana in. Yeah. I scanned you guys in, and I was like, "What the? Why didn't he just ask me?" So I saw that message, and I was like, "All right, let me go talk to this guy." And I remember you were just telling me like, "Hey, I want to do this. Like, I want to do this, and I want to do that." And I was just like, just fucking do it, you know? And I think that's always the biggest thing that holds people back is the actual execution of it, dude. Because, dude, it's scary, man. Like, this is something you've never done before. You don't know how to start. You don't know how, like, where to fucking begin. And you're like, well, there's so much to do. Like, where do I start, right? And it's honestly just fucking starting. You know what I mean? Taking that first step, and you always hear it. It's messy action. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we can both agree with that. Like, when we started doing this, bro, like we were both lost. We were both confused. We had no idea what to do, how to start it, but we started it. And along the way, we're like, okay, well, like I'm learning this. Let me put that into play. I'm learning this. Let me put that into play. You know what I mean? And dude, like it's just that first step that's always the hardest to take. But once you take it and you give yourself like, if you don't give yourself an option out, like, all right, what's the next step? You know?
And like you said, it's messy action, man. Like when we go back to, the way we were doing things, it was definitely messy. We had no systems in place. We didn't have like full grasp on how to run everything. We're just doing our best. But the only thing that was different was that we were actually doing it. And like you said, it holds so many people back because even me, myself, like I still remember when I told you I wanted to do it. And then, you pushed me to do it. And then you checked up on me like 2 weeks later. So you're like, when are you getting started? And I still hadn't done anything, and 2 weeks went by. And I remember that was a trigger for me. I'm like, okay, I sound like I'm Cap right now. I sound like I'm just talking and saying something to be cute rather than actually executing. So I know that's been a problem for me in the past where I get so caught up in trying to plan and make it perfect. And I just never get started. You procrastinate so much on quote unquote preparing that you just never get shit done.
Yeah, man. I feel like a lot of people are chasing this perfect time, this perfect moment, and like, dude, I say it all the time. It's a fucking unicorn. Like, it doesn't exist. Like, take today and make it the perfect moment. You know what I mean? Because you only have today, right? What do you have to get done today, or like what steps do you have to like do to move forward? And once you start doing that, you start finding the way to actually get to where you want to go, right? And for you, man, like, I knew where you were at, and that's why I followed up on you, because I saw a lot of me in you in the fact that I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and then never took action. I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and never took action. And when you have somebody there that's gonna kind of call you out or be like, yo, are you doing it? Have you started? Then you're just like, oh, well, damn, like I gotta get started. You know what I mean? And you were like the perfect person to me at the perfect time. You know what I mean? Because we both just we knew we wanted to do something, and we knew we were going to hold each other accountable to it. And before you, I had probably one other person that I could rely on to do that. But other than that, like, I really had nobody being like, yo, like, are you doing what you have to do? Are you pushing yourself with that comfort zone?
Yeah, man. And since we've got here, it's been nothing but that. Like, even even in the very beginning of all this, like November, December, January, when it was, we moved out here and like we both agreed, like, okay, one, we're not gonna have friends. We're not gonna meet a lot of people. Like we're gonna be kind of isolated for a bit, which is good. It's gonna give us a lot of time to work and like build what we need to build up. Luckily, we found like the best group of people in the freaking world that are family to us now. But we didn't know that in the beginning. We weren't aware, the people we were gonna meet. It was all kind of like unknown and just going with the flow. But in that time, we just worked out. Dude. Getting getting up at 4 in the freaking morning, making breakfast together, hitting the gym at 6 and freezing cold because it was outside.
Yeah.
Those were good times, and there was nothing but building. Like that's when we were absolutely focused because that was our only option. I still laugh about it now. There's a couple of times where, we're building up. That's when we're building our course. We're getting all this material and we're studying like crazy. There's a couple of times where halfway through just building, I would fall asleep on my desk from how exhausted I was.
Yeah.
And I'd wake up an hour later. I'm like, why am I asleep right now? And then get right back to work. And it's crazy to think about now, but those were what we had to do in the beginning to really get to where we are now. And even then, it's still the beginning. Like, we're still just getting started.
Dude, it's funny that you bring that up because I kind of forgot about those 4 a.m.s, dude. I kind of forgot about them, man. Those were wild, dude. Honestly, like we were laser focused on what we had to do, and I remember you told me too, like we got to come out here, we got to work, and we got to make some noise. Like we got to make our presence known, and that's exactly what we came out here to do because we knew that there is other online fitness coaches out here, dude. That's fucking capital, right? Like what separates us from the rest? And honestly, like we just cared and we outworked a lot of other people. You know what I mean? Those 3 months, like. Dude, I remember one night we were supposed to go out and like go hang out and party, and it was like 8:30, and I was like, no, hold on, dude, I'm finishing this right now. Like I didn't want to leave my desk because I was like 3 hours in onto like reading research and like doing all this shit for my clients, and I was like, dude, like this is what it takes, and this is what a lot of people don't see, right? And you got to be willing to put in that time and that commitment into your craft, and just not look back. And like that's exactly what we did. We didn't come out here to make friends. We didn't come out here to do any of that. We were at zero. We're at zero. Nobody knew us. Nobody knew of our business. Dude, I'm pretty sure you didn't have much money in your bank account.
Dude, we were running on fumes. We were running on credit. And I told Yvonne all the time, I just trust me on this. And for whatever reason, she trusted me. But, I'm glad that I had somebody in my corner the whole time to be able to trust me with that because it's scary. We knew that funds weren't great. We knew that a lot of this was on credit, and we were just like, okay, now it's a race against time. Now I just need to do good in this amount of time, and then we're good. We don't have to stress too much about it. And with, what we do, just fitness coaching and in general, like I always tell my clients too, like once you invest into something once, you're so willing to do it again and again and again. And it's not as hard to. Yeah. So before I moved out here, I was already being coached under Will Sage. And to me, that was a big investment at the time, but I knew the value from it. So when I got to Zach, I was just like, okay, cool, here, take it. Like, it was so easy to invest in someone else because I knew the return that was coming right back from it and the value that I was able to get from it. And then now that value, I'm able to provide for my clients right back. So it just goes in one full circle, and it plays out really freaking well, man.
Dude, 100%. And I think the biggest thing too, the biggest learning curve out here for me, honestly, because I know you had invested into like other courses and like other stuff in the past for like, I think it was like email marketing and like
sales, social media marketing, some multiple different things. But it did serve me some type of purpose, like now that I get to now. But just like the conversation I was having with you last night, where at the time when I was pursuing something, I was pursuing it purely out of income. I was just like, okay, with social media marketing, I can make a lot of money. And that's all I cared about. And real quickly, I found out that I burned myself out. I was not passionate about it, and I didn't love it. Versus those 4 a.m. days, those 12-hour work days that we had, I had a lot of passion behind it. I had a lot of people that I freaking cared about. I wanted to help every single one of my clients. So it's kind of hard to burn out and not have drive when like, okay, I'm doing this because I want to help people so damn bad.
Yeah.
Versus with social media marketing, like I don't care how much money I could have made, it just wasn't for me. I burnt out. I had a breakdown. Like it was not good for my mental health.
Yeah, dude, and I think honestly, dude, I say this all the time, and like I think we're extremely blessed to be able to do what we do because honestly, like we get to wake up every single day, improve ourselves, keep learning, keep investing to help the people that are under us. You know what I mean? And kind of like with the investment part, dude, like I was mentioning, like that was the biggest learning curve for me because I had never really invested into a coach. Like Zach was the first coach that I ever invested into, and I never really saw the benefit of it. And then, like you mentioned, dude, it gets easier. After that, I hired my coach. After that, I hired a Kendall. And like now, whenever I do decide to invest into somebody, like I already have my card ready. I'm like, here, just take my money, help me, show me the skills that I'm gonna need to know to improve myself, so I can help every single one of my clients, right? And when you do it in that manner, dude, like that passion isn't gonna go away, right? Like you said, email marketing, dude, like there's nothing really driving you behind that, right? But when you're showing up for your clients, you're like, hey, dude, I want to improve their quality of life. I want to make sure their nutrition is the best. I want to make sure their training is the best. I want to make sure they have every single resource to be successful, dude. You wake up and you're like, fuck yeah, like let me go help some fucking people out. Let me go make their life better, you know? So honestly, man, like I think we're extremely blessed to be doing what we're doing.
100%, man. It's definitely fulfilling, and I'm glad that I took up on it because with all the limiting beliefs, especially from the start, man, it was really easy to turn around. Like that was the easy way out. I did have a backup plan, and I had to burn that bridge as soon as possible. And actually, moving out here was actually me burning that bridge. I've told you before, I was supposed to take over my dad's business. He was doing great, he was killing it, and I had every reason to stay, except for the reason that I wasn't being fulfilled from it. It was fun. I loved the labor, but I just wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't doing what I loved and what I told myself I'd be doing when I was a kid in middle school. Like I was always that kid that carried a jug of water, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we did take up on it. And the fact that we can continue to invest into courses, into mentors, and bring back that value right back to our clients is huge because it gets easier. I just joined Wake Up Wealthy, and that brotherhood has done nothing but wonders for me. And I've only been in it for 2-3 weeks. I still got, 2.5 more months. And I haven't even like scratched the surface of what they have to offer and how much they can help me help my clients.
Yeah, dude, that's huge, man. And honestly, bro, like in the time, because dude, I've been in pits with you from day one, like since we moved out here, man. And I've seen you grow exponentially, man. Because I still remember this conversation with you, and I think a lot of people are gonna resonate with this one, right? Like I remember we were driving home from the gym, and you were saying when this, when that, when this, when that, and I remember I just called you out on it. I was like, when what? I was like, what the fuck are you waiting for, dude? Like, I was like, are you going to do it or not? And I think that is that limiting belief that we carry within ourselves because, dude, when you're coming into this and you're so new, you will kind of like think to yourself, like, hey, am I good enough? Hey, do I have what it takes? And maybe at the moment you don't. That's why you fucking dive all in and you learn as much as you possibly can because when we came out here, dude, the person that came out here is completely different than the person that is like sitting next to me today, right? And I can speak for both of us on that because we've done the work, we've invested, we've continuously gotten better at our craft, and we've developed the skills, we developed the knowledge to be a different person. And when it comes down to it, like I think was Zach's mentor that brought this up. That was like, every stage of your life is a different character, and if you look at it in that manner, you're going to be okay because this new role is going to, it's going to require new skills, it's going to require new knowledge. Cool, go learn them. Go learn them, envelop that role, and you're going to be okay, right? Because, dude, you're never going to have it all figured out. Never, right?
It's funny that you say that, man. So a lot of what Wake Up Wealthy teaches is really being too hyper-focused on the past or on the future and not being present. And that's exactly what I was doing. I was too focused on the past, things that, messed me up or I'm in this position because of this, and just kept playing victim. And I knew what I was doing, but I didn't have anybody to call me out on it until you did, which I'm extremely grateful for. I've always wanted people around me that can call me out on my bullshit because I never take it to heart. When somebody calls you out for a good reason, and you can tell when it's constructive criticism or when somebody cares about you, you have to be willing to be receptive of that because if you're not, then you are allowing your ego to get in your own way and literally block your own blessings. what I was really doing, and I still remember I would say, oh, when I do this, I'll do this. When I'm this, I'm do this. When I make this much, I'll do this. Like it was all about a when, and I was so focused on the future that I wasn't executing today. And if I really want to plan out my future and mold my future and become a certain person, I had to focus on what I had to do today, or else that future's never even gonna happen. This fantasy that I keep playing in my head is just a story I keep telling myself, and it's just not gonna be It's just not gonna happen because I'm not executing today.
Dude, you've dropped some fire ass posts on this, and it's like when I'm doing everything I have to, the future's guaranteed, right? It's like fitness, dude. Like if you know you're eating healthy, if you know you're working out, if you know you're getting an adequate amount of sleep, you're hydrating, you're doing everything you know you need to do. Guess what? You're gonna lose the weight.
See results.
You're gonna see results, right? And it's the same thing with life, right? You know, if you put up that plan, which is what we do now, like we'll set up our plan. We show up every day. We execute, right? And it's just about taking the initiative of actually fucking doing it, you know? And I think that's honestly like the biggest thing we've learned now is just to take the action. Like, what do you lose? You know what I mean? Like, dude, I held myself back for so many years just thinking like, these people are fucking special. Like, I don't have this, I don't have that. And like with my company, man, like the biggest thing that I want to do is like, you know, not saying this in a bad way, but I want to bring average individuals into amazing fucking human beings, because for such a long time, man, like my mind was just like, well, they're special. They have something I don't. They're doing this, they're doing that, right? Like I can't do that. Bullshit. It's all bullshit, man. It's all in your head. Like if you're willing to put the work in and you're willing to be consistent with it, you can do it too, because bro, I'm fucking average. You know what I mean? There's nothing special. I'm lazy as fuck. I'll admit that shit right now. I'm lazy, dude. If I can fucking lay in bed and watch anime all day, I will. You know, but at the end of the day, like, you know, I look at my clients and I see them improve and I'm like, you know what? Like, I want to get better from them. I want to improve. So I show up every day and I show up on social media and I show up to study and I show up to the gym and I show up to my meals and I do everything I have to do. And now I've unlocked like a different potential in myself where I look at Zach and I used to look at him like he was on a pedestal and I'm like, I can get there.
He tells us all the time too. He always, and I love the way he puts it too, because he will be out in neighborhoods, or he's talked about it in stories multiple times. He'll look at somebody who's extremely ahead in their league or whatever they're doing, whatever business or industry they're in, and he doesn't see like, oh wow, they're this far. He's just like, no wonder they're this far. He's like, they put in this amount of work in this amount of time and they were this focused. He's just like, I'm not surprised. Yeah. Like they literally worked up until that point. Like, why are you surprised? They did all the work. So when you put it into that, in that way, you look at it completely different. You know, it's very achievable by anybody. And it sounds like with you, what you're doing in the company culture that you're building is that you want to show that you want to build everybody and show them of their true potential, what they truly can do if they just set their mind to it.
Dude, 100%, man. And like, dude, I'm going to bring up like one of my clients because like this dude is fucking amazing. So this guy named Caesar, like when I first started working with him, dude, like he was dealing with like depression and he was like really down, you know what I mean? And all we had to do was set up a game plan for him and he just started executing every single day, just one step forward. You look at him now, this dude's fucking jacked. He moved to LA. He's thinking about starting coaching. He's about to get his major in business. And it's like, bro, like, you know what I mean? Like, he did it, dude.
Bro. He looks freaking good, too. He's killing it.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, it's super achievable if you're willing to actually just show up and do it, right? If you remove all these limiting thoughts and you remove all, like, this overwhelm, because, dude, I can speak for this. Like, when I put a lot on my plate, dude, I'll get overwhelmed and I'll shut down. You know what I mean? But once you take that apart and you're like, all right, bite-sized pieces. I only got to show up once to post on social media. Cool. I got to show up to my workout. I can do that. I got to eat my meals. Cool. I could do that. Right. And like you break it down to smaller tasks. You're like, this isn't that hard. Right. But it's just being consistent with it, because like now, dude, like the growth we've had is because we've been fucking consistent for the last year. Right. We've shown up and done everything we have to, bro. Like, you know, and that's why the results are there.
It's funny, I was talking about this with Nick yesterday at the gym, I believe. We were talking about that when we put too many things on our list we look at it, we get overwhelmed, and when we start knocking it out one by one, we're like, oh shoot, it wasn't that bad. Like it wasn't gonna take as long as we thought it was, and we just kind of psych ourselves out. We are painting this giant monster when all we need to do is just turn on the lights real quick and just notice it's our chair with a shirt on it. Like it really isn't as big as we make it out to be. And he spoke about it on his story, and it like really got to me that morning because I had a list right there on my desk of a bunch of things I needed to do, and I was feeling like stupid overwhelmed. And then I looked at him like, okay, realistically, only one of these things needs to be done by tomorrow, so I'm gonna just get that part done.
Yeah.
And the rest I can trickle it out throughout the week, and then just be focused and make sure I accomplish each one, and just go to sleep as a winner rather than like freaking out thinking, okay, why didn't I get all of this done, or because I was just overwhelmed, stressed, and wasn't even able to focus on it.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And that, so speaking on that, man, like I think that's one of the biggest things that like people stress out about, right? Is having like this fat to-do list, and they don't notice how psychological it is, like if you don't accomplish it. Because now you're looking at the end of the night and you're like, well, I didn't accomplish 4. But you accomplished 6 fucking important tasks, and now you're just beating yourself over the little 4 that you didn't have to do, you know? So it's like really prioritizing what it is that you have to do, man. And like when we came out here, that's exactly what we did. Or like we knew what we had to do when it came to prioritizing, and like we did it. Like, hey, look, we have to set up our systems for our clients to make it more efficient for them. We did that, right? We have to improve our quality service to make sure they're getting the best service they possibly can. We did that. We got to make sure that, you know, we're keeping consistent contact and making sure that, you know, they're good. We did that.
And I think the important part that I kind of want to pick apart with that is how many times did we do it though? So yeah, we created some type of structure, system, or anything, but how many times did we tear it down and build a new one? Tear it down, build a new one. So I think that's why it's so important that you just start, because no matter what you do, you're going to tear it right back down. And then you're going to build it up better, tear it down, build it up better. Like I thought I had my systems, you know, pretty solidified. No, I'm tearing them down all over again because I want to make them better for my clients.
Yeah.
I walked through our entire process in their shoes and I didn't like it. I'm redoing it. So you're going to keep evolving as a coach, as a business, as a person. You're always going to be continually getting better. And you just have to be okay with that. You accept that and realize that, you know, when you start off, it's like we said, it's going to be some messy work, man, but you got to be okay with it.
Yeah, dude, 100%. And dude, like us being around like all these higher level coaches and like just them being like years ahead of us, like we'll pick stuff up now where we're like, oh shit, like I never even thought of that. You know what I mean? So like you're always consistently learning and you're always improving it. Right. So it's just a matter of like taking that action and building it, dude. Like I think the biggest thing, and I really want to drive this forward, is like, dude, just fucking start. Like really start taking action on what it is that you have to do and what it is that you want to do, right? Because for such a long period of time, I was stuck giving my time away and living my life in a position that was just so unhappy doing the stuff that I didn't want to do, but I felt stuck. Like I didn't want to, you know, leave, right? Because I was paying my bills. You know, I was kind of comfortable, right? But you have to get out of that comfort zone and you have to just shoot for whatever it is that you want, right? Because once you do that, dude, it's going to be scary as fuck, but you're going to enjoy life way more. And like, I think I can speak for both of us, dude, like moving out here and like really just like living on a day by day basis and making sure that like we show up every day. Like we've enjoyed life. Like we're living life on our own terms. We're doing what we want to, whenever we want to. And dude, we help people out. We help them improve their life. We help get them out of whatever it is that they're at right now. You know?
We show them and I love the way we put this, but fitness really is the gateway to success. It's a metaphor for everything. Like you get exactly what you put into it. You got to just start. It's going to be messy work. Your form's going to be shit. But you got to just get those reps in. You got to be consistent with it. You have to do it day by day. You have to take your rest days. You have to look at all these smaller factors and just doing them continuously if you want to see the results. And I love how that always ties back to fitness. So the lessons that I've learned, you know, starting off in that little Prunedale garage gym, like still apply to me now. You know, what I learned in fitness now still apply to me now at a higher level. And it's always going to be that metaphor. And I can always trust and bet that, you know, whenever I'm feeling lost or I'm not me or I'm not okay, something's not right in my fitness life. Something's not, my meals are on point. I'm not sleeping. I'm not drinking my water. You know, something's not on track. And it normally like points out, you know, I've never been amazing with my fitness goals. Like everything's on point, and then everything else just sucks. Like it's never been like that. It's always like intertwined.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And I love that you brought that up, bro, because I actually like bring this up to a lot of my clients, right? Because, you know, when life starts going just like A1, like everything starts kind of getting like fucked up, and like, you know, they have all this stuff, like external factors like starting to like seep into their mental health and like their nutrition, stuff like that. I always make them backtrack, and I'll be like, dude, like, look, control the controllables, right? Let me ask you, like, can you control what you put in your mouth at any given time of the day? Of course, they're gonna say yes. I was like, can you decide whether you work out for 10 minutes or half an hour? Of course, again, yes, right? We always have that control, right? And I'm just like, okay, cool. Why don't you focus on the two things you can control and let the rest of it just kind of fix itself, right? Because most times they're trying to fix all these external issues, and then like their nutrition falls off, their training falls off, they're low on energy, then their sleep falls off too, and like it all cascades, dude. And it's a huge fucking pillar of life that you can't neglect. And if you do neglect it, like the rest of your life's gonna suffer. Like that's a fact.
100%. And I know you've dealt with this too with your clients, but I'm sure you've had clients that have been killing it, and then something happens in their life, you know, which is normal. Life hits you just randomly. I've had a couple clients where life really freaking hits them, and I try really explaining it and making it very freaking clear that now more than ever is it important that you stick to the commitments that you make to yourself, because this is going to decide, and this is like what you tell yourself now is what you're going to tell yourself afterwards. Yeah. You know, if you're going through a breakup and, you know, you're sad, you're depressed, you know, and you don't want to work out, this is when it's most important you get yourself in the gym, put yourself first, prioritize yourself first, keep yourself healthy and feeling good, because if you don't, like, it's just a downward spiral from there. And the next time something gets really tough, you're just going to do that again because you've done it once. It's easy to do it twice. Versus if adversity hits and you create a very good opportunity from it, guess what happens next time adversity hits? You create another opportunity from it and another one. And you just turn it into this pattern. You condition yourself to make as many opportunities as possible from the adversity that you get put within your life. I try really putting that in on my clients' heads, because that's what I did. I always say that fitness really did change my life, and it will continue to do so.
100%, man. It definitely changed my life as well, dude, because, like, dude, if it wasn't for fitness, I'd never be here, you know? And, like, that is the most crucial moment when you have to stick to it, and, like, you have to keep those promises you made to yourself, right? Because adversity is always going to hit, you know? Like, dude, like, even now, like, even throughout this time, even though, like, we've grown, like, we've had a lot of setbacks. Yeah. You know, and it's just like, okay, well, we have this setback. Like, what are we gonna do about it? Are we gonna just let it like bring us down? Or are we just gonna go back into this hole, or are we gonna just bounce back?
We go right back to what works. Hit those non-negotiables. Control what you're able to control, and you know the other side's always gonna be good. The end is always gonna be secured if you just do what you had to do today. And that's what I love about it. That's what I love about Wake Up Wealthy. I mean, it's teaching you the same principles, and if you want to get anywhere, if you want to get far anywhere, it all falls down to the same principles, whether it's fitness, business, whatever it is. It just comes down to doing the little things very freaking well every single day. In fitness, how do elite athletes train? They do the same things that, you know, beginners do. They just do it really freaking well. Yeah. Same movement patterns. They're executing the same exercises just very freaking well. Nothing really changes. It's the same principles.
Yeah. And then you just do it for years. You just do it for years, man. And that's what it really is. Because, like, if you consistently do these little habits, guess what? They're ingrained. Mm-hmm. They're ingrained. And, like, even when you want to fall off, you'll wake up in the morning and you'll be like, nah, like, I got to get back on track.
It's the moment you start to try to cut corners.
Yeah.
And you forget what works. And then you lose yourself trying to cut corners and not doing what already works and trying to do things that you don't even know what works. You kind of lose yourself. And I've definitely done that in fitness. I've definitely done that in business, where I get lazy in certain parts. I try to cut corners, and then what happens? I circle right back to the basic on what works, what's proven to bring results. And if you can just really condition yourself to just rinse and repeat and do the boring part, you can expect to see the best results in the shortest amount of time.
Yeah.
It's the shortcut, what people look for.
Yeah, man. I love that, dude, because, like, long term is the short term. if you commit to like, you know what, like I'm going to do this right, I'm going to do this proper, I'm going to learn what I have to do, and then consistently follow through for a long period of time, you're going to get there a lot faster than trying to be 100%, you know, every single day and then falling off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just be consistent with the small stuff, be consistent with what you're doing. And like, even if you have that day that you fall off, just get right back on track. You know what I mean? And that goes with anything in life. It goes with training, it goes with nutrition, it goes with like your career. Like, dude, just as soon as you fall off, acknowledge it, try and figure out what it is that derailed you, and then just, you know, fix it and keep moving forward. Because, you know, like we mentioned, adversity is going to hit, and it's going to hit you pretty hard sometimes, and you're going to fall off for a little bit, right? So, you know this, man, I started going through therapy, right? Because I was like, hey, look, there's something holding me back, right? So I wanted to dig into myself and figure out what it was that I wanted to, you know, truly fix, right? And going through that, I was like, you know what, this is going to fix everything for me. I'm going to be able to talk about all my problems, like all this stuff, right? Bro, like it was horrible. Like it put me in like a deep, dark spot. I started losing sleep. I was overwhelmed literally at all times of the day. Like I found myself waking up like 5 or 6 times. But I've learned like, okay, like, dude, like, you know what, like this is internal work that I still had to do. And even then I consistently still showed up. I still worked out. I still kept my nutrition. I still kept my habits. And guess what? Like I'm feeling a lot better now, and I'm actually performing a lot better, which is why I was able to bring somebody else onto my team. You know what I mean? And it's like, dude, as long as you're willing to move forward with it, you're going to be okay. Just don't let it drag you down. You know?
Yeah, because it was painful in the moment, but you know, and you're very aware that you're growing from it.
Yeah.
You know, if it's not hurting in some type of way, like, are you really growing from it?
Yeah.
You know, and once again, circles right back to fitness, a metaphor. Like, if you want to grow, I mean, you're going to have to put your body under enough stress to force it to grow. It's the same way with life. Yeah, if you're too comfortable, you can't expect yourself to grow. There's no stress being placed on you. The body doesn't have to. The mind doesn't have to.
Yeah, dude. I mean, biggest thing is like just getting uncomfortable. Like get mad uncomfortable, right? And I heard this in a story, dude, and like it just always stuck with me, right? The more you feel uncomfortable, you know you're in the right fucking position, right? Because now you know you're growing. This is something new to you. This is something that you have to learn from, and you're going to keep improving from it. So chase that uncomfort. Whenever you find yourself getting comfortable, be like, all right, something's got to change, right? Like what needs to change for me to get uncomfortable again and keep growing? And the longer you stay in that position, the more you're going to grow, the more confident you're going to get, because you're figuring shit out. You start feeling a little bit like you're invincible. You're like, okay, like I've been in this position before where I didn't know what to do and I didn't know how to tackle it, but I made it through, right? So I can do it again.
Exactly. With each level that you advance into is a whole new set of problems that you've never dealt with and that you don't know how to deal with.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to control your emotions, and if you're way too reactive versus proactive, like you're going to find yourself being stressed out all the freaking time, versus if you just completely change your perspective of it. One really big thing that I picked up from Wake Up Wealthy that I absolutely love is problems don't exist. It's just a situation that you haven't found a solution to yet. We're still in the making of finding a solution, you know, and those problems are just opportunities to grow, like I stated earlier. Julian was talking about, and I was just like, you know what, that's right. He compared it to a gym. He said, what's a gym without weights? Just a big, empty, useless room, right? Those weights are placed there to force you to grow. They're placed there to stress your body out, to force you to grow. The same way with problems. If you look at a problem and all you see is a situation that you just haven't found a solution to yet, if you see it as an opportunity to grow, dude, you're going to have a lot of freaking fun in this life.
Yeah.
You are not going to be as stressed, as overwhelmed, as mad. You are going to be having a lot of freaking fun, because as stressful as some things might get, it's still going to be fun because you know that the end is always secure. You know, just over this little hump, it's fun.
Yeah.
You're good. It's not that deep.
You're like, I'm gonna figure this shit out.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And you just got to figure it out, dude. Like if you really put yourself in a position where like, you're like, okay, cool. Like I have no way out. Like I'm going to figure it out. And that's exactly what we did, man. Like we just didn't give ourselves a way out. We're like, cool. Like we got to make this happen or else like we got nothing. I mean, that's just kind of like the way I saw it, like especially moving out here, man. Like I was just like, dude, if we don't figure this out, like I don't have funds, I don't have anything, but like, you know what? Like I'm going to figure this fuck out.
Yeah, we were okay with the absolute worst outcome. We were okay with that. That's the risk we took, even though we firmly believe that that outcome would never come. You know, the end is always secure, and we firmly believe that, which has been absolutely amazing since the beginning. Now, since we talked a lot about a timeline coming up until this point, what's next, man? What's next for ATG in the next couple of years? Talk a little bit about what you would love to bring to your team and what you really want to, want the people to know, like, about you guys.
Bro, you know this, right? So for me, dude, I'll be the first one to say, like, I'm not the smartest. You know what I mean? So I really want to build something where, like, I can get people that are way, way above me to be able to help my clients out, right? So, like, the new assistant coach I actually hired, man. So this guy's working with D1 athletes right now. He's working with UCLA, and you're talking like cream of the crop athletes, right? So I love that. And I love the fact that, I can bring him to help my clients out. Cause I'm like, dude, like, this guy knows his craft, and he's a master of his craft, So what I want to do, man, is I want to bring more people like that, So eventually I do want to bring a registered dietitian onto the team and have experts in their own field to be able to, like, really progress it, man. Because, like I mentioned, dude, I want to bring average people to amazing, right? Because they're all capable of it, and we're always here about serving. The biggest thing that comes with, like, bringing on a coach or hiring a coach or bringing on a team in general is, like, dude, like, these people better be able to serve you really well. You know what I mean? Because they're putting their trust and their money into you to get them to a better position, right? So that's always the way I see it. It's like, dude, I don't want to break their trust, because when they say yes to me, like, hey, I want to work with you, they're putting their full trust and faith into me, and I'm going to damn make sure that, they get the results they want and they come out way better, than when they first started.
And from experience too, a lot of times when people do come to you, you're their last resort.
Yeah.
They don't know where else to go. They don't know where else to turn. They just know that you can help them in some type of way, and they're giving you their full trust.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And it's hard, dude, because, like, honestly, like, I feel like the fitness industry has a lot of bullshit, dude. There's a lot of fads out there. There's a lot of, like, quick fixes, and people aren't really taught, what's going on, man. And I always bring this up in conversation whenever I'm talking to somebody that's new. I'll be like, hey, man, like, you probably tried this diet, right? Or, like, you went and worked with this company and you did this and this and this, right? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, do you understand why you're losing weight? They're like, oh, no, I have no idea. And, like, that's what I want to squash, man. I want to make sure that every single person that works with us, bro, they'll come out of it and they'll be like, dude, I understand my body. I understand my nutrition. I understand my training. I understand why it was placed in the way it was, and, like, why we moved in the way it was, right? Because, if people come to me, man, and, like, they're not ready to go into a fat loss phase, I'll tell them, I'll be like, no, it's not happening. You know what I mean? And I speak from, like, personal experience too, man. Like, I was never ready to go into a fat loss phase until recently, and I was like, all right, cool. Right? So we're always trying to provide just, that education, man. And, like, proper education, not just here's your diet, like, go follow it. It's like, no, dude, like, this is why you're following it. This is what it's doing to your body, and this is what we're looking out for, man. And I think we both resonate in that manner, and I think that's why, like, we both get along so well, is because, like, we're always just trying to provide the best for these people. And it's not like, here's your quick fix, I'll see you later, just because I have a fucking audience of 100,000 followers, It's like, no, I'm going to make sure that I give you the damn best service that I possibly can. And you walk out of this and you're like, fuck, man, that was awesome.
An experience. I mean,
yeah,
you're not just giving here's a meal plan, here's your workouts, have a good day. You're really trying to bring an experience to the client and really change them from the inside out rather than the outside in. And that's what makes long-term results. You know, if you get somebody to lose 20 pounds and they don't know why they lost 20 pounds, chances are they're going to gain it right back.
Yeah.
Versus if you are really teaching them and educating on them on why it's even important, I mean, you are giving them a lifetime investment of education. It's not just fitness. It's not just a meal plan. It's so much more. A lot of it comes down to mindset too, because a lot of your clients do come to you dealing with issues and they don't know who else to turn to.
Yeah.
And you do your absolute best to put them in the best position possible to make sure they're successful. Give them all the tools and resources.
Yeah, dude. 100%, man. And I think the biggest thing too, like, what I want people to understand when it comes to, like, training, like, that shit builds grit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you feel like you have a weak mindset or you feel like you don't have, like, the fortitude to it, go to the gym, push yourself, right? Because we both know this, man. Like every time you go into a set and like you beat that logbook and you're like, fuck, man, I just pushed that shit and like I thought I couldn't do it. Guess what, man? It's gonna resonate to the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Because you're like, I can push a lot harder than I thought it was. And you do that consistently over and over and over. Guess what, dude? Your mindset is gonna grow, and you're just gonna keep evolving from it.
You can handle so much more stress.
100%, dude. 100%. So that's kind of what's coming with my company, man. Dude, eventually, like, honestly, I would love to have a team of 10. You know, like, at first I was always like, you know, a team of 5. And now that, like, I'm at a team of 4, I'm like, damn.
I think 10's going to be here a lot sooner than you think, man.
Yeah.
It's, especially with what you're building up, the company culture that you do have already, and how much you care about your clients, there's no reason it shouldn't. And I can see it growing extremely fast, and I'm excited to just keep seeing it grow, man. It's been awesome to see Andrew killing it. I can't wait to see Elijah kill it. Like, it's going to keep on growing, and yeah, we're going to keep hopping on this podcast. We are definitely going to be doing multiple. Yeah. This was definitely our first one. Wanted to give our story together, how me and you came up from not knowing each other to basically building everything we have up until this point, and everything we're going to continue to build up. So I definitely want to do more of these with you. I definitely want to talk about nutrition, training styles, just some multiple different things. So it's definitely going to get fun. Do you have any last things that you would want to, you know, tell your clients, anybody listening to, like one thing, if they can take away one thing, what would it be?
Bro, I mean, honestly, I just want to thank you and just tell you how much I appreciate you, bro, because like, I'm going to share this little funny fact, dude. Like before we moved in together, I talked to this guy twice. It was one when he shot me a DM. And then number 2, when I saw you at the gym, I was like, yo, what's going on, man? And that was it, dude. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Like, surround yourself with people that, like, want bigger things, that are striving for bigger things because, dude, that shit, like, really, you know, kind of, it really just kind of, like, sticks to you, man. And I can say this, and I'll say this about you because, like, this is the biggest thing that I've taken from you, right? I know you just mentioned, like, hey, you're building, like, a good culture, and you're building a good, like, leadership, bro. I took a lot of my leadership from you. You know, like I looked at you and like I looked at the way you carried yourself, the way you communicated and the way like you talked to your team. And I was like, okay, like I need some of that. Right. And when you surround yourself with people, dude, that are go-getters and like have characteristics like this, you'll get them as well. Right. So I think I can speak for both of us here, man. Like, I don't think there's anybody in our group where we can't look at them and we'll be like, damn, like I want that characteristic. You know what I mean? Every single person has one thing that we're like, shit, they do that really, really well. And I want a little bit more of that in my life.
100%.
You know? So I think that's the biggest thing I can tell you guys is, dude, surround yourself with people that are going to go after shit and they're not just talking, you know? Look at the actions they're putting into play. And if they're actually taking the action, dude, hang out with them more. You know what I mean? And bring something of value to the table. Like, don't just try and like mooch off of them. Like, make sure you're helping them grow too, because at the end of the day, like if you collaborate with more people like we're doing right now, dude, you're going to grow exponentially because I wouldn't be here without Mario today. And I can say that I wouldn't be here without my mentors today. And, you know, every single one of them played a huge, huge factor in where I am today. And the fact that I'm able to do that for other people now is fucking mind blowing. You know, like, dude.
It's a waterfall, man. It just keeps on going.
Yeah.
And we just pray that, you know, the people that you help will help people and help people and help people. And it's just this constant cycle of just people's lives just getting better because you decided to make a change and make a difference in your own life and take care of yourself first, that it affected other people's lives. It affected my life. You know, I'm out here because of you as well. I really do believe we met each other at the perfect time where, like, we both needed that support. And we made it happen. And now we're here doing this. And this is just one of many.
One of many, man. Looking forward to the next one, man. Dude, appreciate you having me on to the podcast, man.
Thank you so much, guys. That was episode 2, Ground Zero. Make sure to check us out on YouTube as well. We are going to have the video format up there. Thank you so much, guys. Until next time.